All right, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a whole stack of material articles, previews, fan reactions, all zeroing in on one specific character arc in The Bold and the Beautiful.
That's right. We're talking about Luna.
Exactly, Luna. And our goal here is to really sift through all the drama, the spoilers, everything the sources are saying to get a clearer picture of what's actually going on with her.
And importantly, why these sources, people who follow the show closely, seem so, well, perplexed by it all.
Okay, so jumping right in, what really stands out across these sources is how fast Luna seems to be descending.
The articles lay it out pretty clearly. She's, a convicted serial killer in the show's history, gets this pardon from Bill, which is a whole thing in itself.
Right.
But then she's almost immediately booted from his mansion, and now the descriptions are all about her unraveling.
Yeah, desperately seeking love, forgiveness, but just getting shut down. Bill, Deacon, they're not having it.
Exactly. But it's more than just her emotional state that's raising eyebrows in these sources. They point out some really, baffling gaps in the story.
Like the apartment.
Yes, how did she suddenly end up with a fully furnished apartment? And where did the money come from to just buy a handgun off some rando, as one source put it?
And the sources are pretty vocal that the show just doesn't explain it at all.
No. And you can see why that's frustrating for people covering it. These feel like big plot points, not minor details, and they make what comes next feel, well, less believable, adding to that confusion we mentioned.
Right, and this tension, this disconnect between Luna saying she's harmless and what she's actually done.
Yeah.
The sources really highlight that.
Definitely. There's that confrontation with Bill. The articles specifically quote him telling her, "You are not the victim here."
And reminding her of everything, right?
Yeah.
The poisoning, the killings,
Yeah.
kidnapping Steffi.
Locking her in a cage, leaving her for dead. I mean, it's quite the list. And yet, even with all that history and now this new gun she somehow got,
She still insists she's not dangerous.
the sources call it striking cognitive dissonance. And the threat level just keeps ticking up in the previews.
That scene at Deacon's restaurant.
Right. He rejects her, and some commentary pointed out he was actually holding a knife, maybe just prepping food. But still, and then Luna is explicitly shown reaching for that handgun in her purse.
So the sources are clear. The potential for violence is really escalating. It's not subtle.
Not at all. And her actions, according to these reports, they aren't just random outbursts. There's a plan.
Yeah, the article stated pretty bluntly. Her goal is to eliminate Steffi.
Described by one source as coming from her twisted mind, apparently to clear the way for her to be with Finn. It's not hinted at, it's spelled out.
And she's actively working towards it.
Seems like it. The sources mention her practicing at a gun range, and that's where she bumps into Remy, this old associate, who apparently also has a criminal past.
And there's speculation she might try to use him.
Yeah, the comment sections are buzzing with theories that she might try to seduce him or manipulate him into helping her kill Steffi.
Wow. Okay, so meanwhile, are other characters picking up on this danger?
Well, yes. Sheila, interestingly enough, is shown wanting to warn Steffi and Finn, but, they don't answer her calls.
Which, as some sources hilariously noted, could maybe be solved with a text? Or just walking in, like everyone else seems to do on the show?
Right. So Sheila turns to Luna's mother, Poppy, instead. And the reports say Sheila warns Poppy directly that Luna is becoming unhinged.
And that Steffi could die because Luna blames her for the situation with Finn.
Exactly. And Poppy apparently agrees, expressing her own fears that Luna is unhinged.
We also see Liam's concern mentioned quite a bit.
Sources point out he seems more worried about Steffi than himself, and they even connect this anxiety to why he might be considering that life-prolonging treatment mentioned in the previews.
And beyond just Luna, there's this general frustration noted in the sources too, right? With the show itself.
Yeah, definitely. Things like characters always walking into homes without knocking, unlocked doors everywhere. It gets mentioned a lot. And just a general feeling that this specific Luna storyline is maybe dragging on a bit too long without resolving these core issues or explaining the inconsistencies.
So let's try to pull this all together from the sources we've looked at.
Okay.
We have Luna, described consistently as unhinged, she's armed, and she has a specific violent goal: getting rid of Steffi.
Right. And this is all happening against a backdrop where the sources covering the show are openly frustrated by what they see as significant plot holes. The apartment, the gun money, basic stuff that seems unexplained.
The warnings are there from other characters, the threat seems very real according to the previews, and the situation feels like it's escalating quickly.
It really does.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with this kind of core question emerging from the source material. Given these documented plot issues alongside the clear danger Luna presents, what does this tell us about where the show's narrative is heading?
And maybe, can the story find a way to address these inconsistencies that the sources are pointing out, even as Luna's dangerous quest seems to be heating up? Something to think about.